Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by. So it's another fun day on Elon Musk's Twitter. Except this time it's not a policy change that's making all of our lives worse or the site unusable. It's become unusable for a few people, but not for the reasons you might think. There's a civil war brewing amongst the American right currently, and it has to do with H-1B visas. These are worker visas for people overseas to come fill jobs at American companies and eventually earn citizenship in that way. This is a problem amongst the American right because some of them want these jobs to go to Americans only. They'll say hire within the country first. We want these jobs to go to Americans so they can keep all this money within the country. We can be a strong economy. They'll spend it here instead of sending it back home to their family. And the problem with that is they can't hide behind this sort of ambiguity of saying Americans only because these visa applicants will become American. These guys like to ignore the only cool thing Ronald Reagan ever said about anybody can come to America and become American, and that's what the H-1B visa process is about. You know, taking someone from another country to move them to the land of opportunity so they can have an opportunity. When these guys say they want these jobs for Americans first, they mean white people. They mean people who look like them. I find it so hypocritical as well. These are the same type of people who for years now have been complaining about DEI hires and how the industry tries to promote and push people to the top who aren't the most qualified for the jobs, when now they want to be hired despite not being the most qualified for the work. We live in a global economy. These companies, while they are based in America, produce products for everyone across the globe. So they need the best people to make the best products and the best service. There is an argument that people like to make that, well, when you hire an H-1B visa applicant, they'll accept lower pay and it drives wages down for everyone. And they accept this lower pay because they're grateful to be in America, and an American worker would demand higher pay for their work. Now, I would make the argument that tech is simply too overpaid, that they make a lot of money for the work that they put out compared to people who work labor jobs. And it doesn't always have to be skilled labor. I always hear this type of guy who's complaining about the tech loss saying that baristas shouldn't make enough money to live off of because that's not a real job. And now they're upset because these real jobs are being taken from them by people who are more qualified on paper. I know for the longest time we told people just learn how to code, and that's how you be successful in America. When I was young, it was always go into the trades, go into a trade school because it's going to be hard work, but it'll always be there. We always need those kind of jobs. We need builders and plumbers and that kind of work, and it's true. That work is still there, and you can get hired fairly easily. You can get paid while you're going through trade school, but the problem is it is very hard labor. Coding is mentally taxing, to say the least, but it's soft. It's you sit at a desk all day, you're in an air conditioned environment. The worst is crunch time, and it does suck, but you're very well compensated for the amount of physical labor you're putting out. These are lucrative jobs, so people from all over the world want them, and you have to be able to compete. The more nationalistic side of the right doesn't care about this, though. They might understand that this is how businesses operate, but their defense of capital ends at their desire for an ethnostate, at their desire for having white people at the top of this economic food chain. And again, you can point out the hypocrisy to them that they are now upset that they do not benefit from these DEI programs. They want to have white men in these jobs, but they don't want to put forth the effort to look good on paper. They just think they deserve it on account of being white and American. There is a huge meltdown happening online over this right now, so if you hop onto Elon Musk's Twitter, you can see people yelling at him. You can see him trying to defend his positions that American workers are stupid, and that's why they have to hire people from overseas. There's been a lot of accounts associated with this Groyper community that have been banned as well because they'll say it's for no reason, but more than likely it's because of extreme bigotry on the platform and being vocally racist towards members of, well, lots of different communities. Basically, anybody who's not white, they have choice words for. They're starting to realize that the free speech platform that they wanted Twitter to become is slowly going to start cracking down on hate speech, which they should have been doing in the first place, but Elon's been trying to court this right-wing crowd for a couple of years now, and I think he's starting to realize it's bad for business. It would be really funny if, at the end of all of this, he becomes this sort of rainbow capitalistic lib that he was in 2019, but time will tell and we'll see what happens with all that. There's still a few weeks before Trump actually gets sworn into office, before all these cabinet choices come into play, and we'll really start to see what sort of MAGA policies they're going to roll out that their constituencies are going to hate. But it's still early in the MAGA civil war. I guess until we get more news about it or until something crazy happens. Y'all try to have a good day.